The Secret Life of a Teenager in the Middle Ages, Stranger Than You Think. In the meantime, subscribe to the channel if you are new and leave a like on the video. Now let's start. In an age when castle walls stood as sentinels of a harsh and unpredictable world, life was far from easy. Before they could even become ladies or knights, young people in the Middle Ages had to overcome trials that put their very survival at risk. Surviving childhood in the Middle Ages was already a battle. Infant mortality was very high. It is estimated that up to 50% of children died before the age of 5, due to diseases such as dysentery, measles, and plague. Hygienic conditions were minimal, and the birth of a child, rather than a joy, often brought fear and uncertainty. Those who managed to get through these first critical years were soon considered little adults. Around the age of 7, boys and girls began to take on important tasks, contributing to the life of the family and the community. Males learned trades such as agriculture, carpentry, or ironwork, while females were trained in household chores, often supervised by older women of the family. The concept of adolescence, as we know it today, simply did not exist. Responsibilities were assigned based on physical strength and necessity. At 12 or 13, one was already considered ready for adult duties. For teenagers, routine was work. The boys helped in the fields, tended the livestock, or began an apprenticeship in a shop. There was no time or space to rebel. The well-being of the family depended on everyone. For girls, the burden was equally heavy. At 13 or 14, they were already considered ready for marriage and motherhood. They had to know how to cook, spin, take care of younger siblings, and run a household, all without running water or electricity. Even the simplest tasks took time and energy. Free time was a rare luxury. Whenever possible, people played with what they had: stones, races, and strength contests. Religious festivals were among the few occasions for socializing, singing, and relaxing. But violence was always around the corner. Wars, invasions, raids. Young people, especially boys, had to learn to defend themselves, ready to fight for their families and communities. In the Middle Ages, maturity came quickly. For girls, marriage was expected as early as 12 or 13 years old. It was not a choice, but a cultural and biological necessity, dictated by the low life expectancy. Marriage was often an economic agreement between families, rather than a love story. Young brides had to immediately face the burden of the house, children, and a new environment, often far from their family of origin. Boys, on the other hand, married a little later, around 16. But they too had great expectations: to support the family financially, to have a job or land to cultivate. Lack of medical knowledge made every birth a danger. Many girls died young from complications related to pregnancy. Boys, on the other hand, were often unprepared for adult responsibilities. In the Middle Ages, education was a privilege, not a right. Only the children of nobles or future members of the clergy could attend schools, often linked to monasteries. Latin, mathematics, philosophy were taught there. For girls, education was even more limited. They learned mostly what was needed at home. For most young people, reading or writing was not a priority. Survival came first. Knowledge was transmitted through experience, in the field, through observation and manual labor. Medieval adolescence was not a time of personal exploration, but a rapid preparation for adult life. At 14, a boy could already be a squire or an apprentice. A girl could be a mother. Everyone had a role to play. No one could afford to get lost or search for themselves. Wars, famines, the death of relatives made growing up even more brutal. Surviving meant becoming strong, quickly. That's all for today. If you liked the video, leave a like and let me know what you think about medieval teenagers. See you next time. Bye.